Hello and welcome everyone. Today, we delve into a captivating story, that of John Rusnak, a man whose actions shook the world of finance in the early 2000s. Picture yourself in the midst of a case where figures are counted in hundreds of millions, where transactions intertwine in a labyrinth of lies and deceit. This narrative is not from a Hollywood movie but from a reality that had profound and lasting repercussions. So, how did an apparently ordinary currency trader orchestrate such a massive fraud? What were his motivations, methods, and most importantly, what were the consequences of his actions for himself and those directly impacted by his deeds? In this video, we will unravel the thread of this intriguing story, exploring the shadows and implications of this scandal. Without further ado, get ready to uncover the depths of one of the greatest banking frauds of the 21st century. Let's dive in. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss our upcoming video. But to understand John Rusnak's story in all its complexity, it is crucial to first examine the financial context of the early 2000s. At that time, the global financial market was in full swing, a chessboard where every move could have global repercussions. Economic integration and the advent of information technologies were reshaping the contours of finance, bringing both innovation and complexity. The internet and deregulation were opening new horizons for rapid financial transactions and unprecedented advancements. At the heart of this dynamism was the foreign exchange market, a domain where stakes were as high as the opportunities. Driven by fluctuations dictated by monetary policies and geopolitical events, it offered a playground for traders seeking profits while presenting significant risks. Mastery of this environment required not only financial expertise but also the ability to anticipate and respond to a constantly evolving reality. Despite the dynamism of the market, the lessons of the financial crises of the 90s still resonated, highlighting the fragility of global financial systems. Authorities, in an effort to stabilize, sought to balance growth and regulation while preparing to guard against potential abuses. However, in this labyrinth of regulations and complex financial products, gaps remained, offering opportunities to those willing to navigate skillfully through the regulatory net. Among those venturing into these shadows, one name stood out: John Rusnak. Joining Allfirst Bank in 1997, the American subsidiary of Allied Irish Banks, AIB, Rusnak entered a period when banks were actively looking to exploit the growing opportunities in the global financial market. Allfirst, with its growth ambitions and solid reputation, presented itself as the ideal playground for an ambitious and skilled trader like Rusnak. Thus, upon his arrival at Allfirst, he was placed at the heart of the foreign exchange trading operation, a significant responsibility given the importance and volatility of the foreign exchange market at the time. His main task was to generate profits through foreign exchange trading, exploiting exchange rate fluctuations for the benefit of the bank. In this role, Rusnak quickly became known as a competent trader with a deep understanding of market dynamics and the ability to make quick, informed decisions. However, behind this facade of success and expertise, John Rusnak faced a complex and demanding environment. The constant pressure to generate high returns and the competitive nature of currency trading created a fertile ground for taking risks. Operating in an environment where performance expectations were high, Rusnak began to explore less conventional paths. This period marked the beginning of a professional journey that would soon take an unexpected turn, illustrating the tensions between performance requirements and the inherent risks of trading in a globally evolving market. Faced with these challenges, Rusnak quickly deviated from the beaten paths of conventional trading. While his official trading limit at Allfirst was $2.5 million, he ventured far beyond, secretly orchestrating colossal positions in the foreign exchange market, particularly in the dollar-yen pair, reaching staggering amounts of $7.5 billion. These bold maneuvers, though concealed, clearly exceeded the bounds of authorized practices, marking a significant escalation in the level of risk taken. This penchant for extremes was further accentuated in how Rusnak managed these positions. Instead of adopting classic arbitrage strategies to balance risks, he chose not to hedge his bets. Each trading decision, therefore, heightened the stakes, leading Rusnak into a spiral of increasing risks. This choice, far from the prudent norms of currency trading, took him into increasingly dangerous territories, where every move could have dramatic consequences. In this whirlwind, Rusnak was actually guided by a deep conviction that he could turn the situation around. He told himself, "I can make up for it. I'm smart enough, I have the resources and the necessary people around me. I'll just trade more and make it back. These words, expressed years later, offer insight into his mindset at that critical moment. But how did he manage to conceal his operations within such a renowned institution as Allfirst Bank? This is where Rusnak's ingenuity comes into play. Faced with the urgency of hiding his growing losses, he devised a complex strategy. Indeed, every failure in his trading operations was cleverly concealed behind a series of fictitious transactions. With surprising mastery, he created and recorded transactions that did not exist, supported by carefully crafted fraudulent documents. These forged documents concocted by Rusnak were of such quality that they managed to deceive Allfirst Bank's control systems, designed precisely to detect such anomalies. His ability to outsmart these surveillance mechanisms was as impressive as it was disconcerting. Not only did he succeed in masking his illicit activities, but he also created the illusion of legitimate and profitable trading. This deception worked for a while, fooling everyone at Allfirst, from colleagues to auditors, making them believe in a success that was nothing but a facade. As this illusion persisted, Rusnak had the freedom to continue his risky bets, digging an increasingly abyssal financial deficit without arousing suspicion. However, such deception could not last forever. Indeed, in 2002, Rusnak's scheme was finally exposed. But how was this network of sophisticated deceptions unveiled? At Allfirst and allied Irish banks, alarming signs began to emerge, triggering alarm within the leadership. Initially subtly concealed, massive losses and irregularities in trading accounts gradually became impossible to ignore. But it was the discovery of enormous losses, amounting to $691 million, that particularly struck officials in Dublin. These losses, cunningly hidden by Rusnak, then revealed the extent of the problem. Faced with these glaring anomalies, an in-depth investigation was launched, paving the way for the revelation of Rusnak's maneuvers and marking the beginning of the end of his financial illusions. However, at the heart of this scandal, John Rusnak was not the typical fraudster, motivated by a desire for personal wealth. Trapped in a spiral of catastrophic decisions, this married trader, family man, and school board member stood out distinctly from the stereotypes of financial fraud. Thus, after realizing that the outcome of his fraudulent actions was inevitable, Rusnak made the remarkable decision to surrender to the FBI on February 7, 2002, a gesture reflecting both despair and accountability. Since then, this revelation has triggered a series of events worthy of a financial thriller. Soon after his fraudulent maneuvers were exposed, Rusnak found himself caught in a legal whirlwind. In February 2003, the judge's gavel struck, announcing a sentence that echoed through the corridors of finance, as he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. A sentence that, though lenient compared to the scale of his misdeeds, was only the beginning of his penance. The court also ordered Rusnak to repay the incredible sum he had lost in the financial abysses of Allfirst Bank. However, while Rusnak's conviction and restitution order seemed to seal his fate, the evolution of his situation in prison revealed another aspect of this complex affair. Behind bars, Rusnak showed an unexpected side. His good behavior and involvement in education programs paved the way for early release. So, in 2008, he began a gradual process of reintegrating into society, marked by his transfer to a halfway house and then to house arrest, before his release in January 2009. However, this evolution of his sentence did not signify the end of his responsibilities. Upon his release, he still had to face the challenge of repaying a portion of the colossal debt he had left behind every month. This financial burden, however, was only one aspect of his new life. Indeed, after his release, he found himself in a radically different world from the one he had left. Far from the tumult of financial markets, he embarked on an impressive journey of rehabilitation and reconstruction. At the age of 49, John Rusnak chose to turn the page on his past in finance. He began a new chapter in Baltimore, initially working in a laundry called Zips. However, Rusnak did not just work there. He quickly took charge of managing 4 establishments, overseeing around 60 employees, many of whom were on their own paths to rehabilitation. But that's not all. The former trader wanted to go even further in his quest for redemption. Becoming a staunch advocate for second chances, he then committed himself to former inmates, drug addicts, and alcoholics. As the executive director of Uncuffed, he worked with incarcerated minors, seeking to provide them with opportunities that he himself had seized. Through this mission, Rusnak committed to giving a second chance to those who, like him, are seeking to rebuild their lives. By guiding them in practical and daily steps, he provided tangible support to those in search of a fresh start. These actions symbolically represent Rusnak's way of repairing the damage of his past. Thus, he continues to write his story, no longer in numbers and transactions, but in acts of generosity and redemption, leaving behind a legacy of change and hope.